overall one.
And overall? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good, sounds good. Okay, let me... Alright. You can see my screen still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're doing... You mean top and ADC?
Yeah, I main top, but I started playing ADC just for fun in normals.
Okay.
But I main top.
So you main top? Okay. And that's the role that the game's gonna be on?
Yeah. No. I got my secondary is mid, so I got put in mid.
Okay.
But I can play mid.
Oh, okay. Take a look at these. These are flex. I don't want to get flex. Let's go to solo queue. Oh, 5 days ago.
That was a weird game. Everyone AFK'd that game. And I got disconnected as well.
The Yasuo one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. That Jinx carried that. Alright. Alright, so pretty much what I got off of just seeing those replays, or I mean those matches, is that throughout all of them, you're not doing that much damage, even if you are ahead. And when you fall behind, it looks like you kind of just sit back and don't really do much. It seems like the big one that stood out to me is this 11-3, and your kill participation is still 44, and your damage output is not that high as well. If you're 11-3, that means you're like you're popping off. You know, that's an insane amount of kills. You should be like having a normal amount of damage. You should be doing a lot of damage. So what that means is that you should just be snowballing the crap out of the game and just trying to finish out the game as soon as possible and doing the most work in the game to carry the game. So like if you look at the 8 and 5k, she out damaged you by a lot. The 5 and 9 Yasuo out damaged you by a lot too, by 3k, not a lot, but you know, even the Sona out damaged you. You know, you want to be making sure that you're putting out as much damage output as you can, especially when you're ahead like that.
Okay.
But that's just what I see right now. Another thing is your CS scores are very low. It's not a lot of games that you're playing. You know, 4 games, 2 games, 2 games. It's not a lot of games that you're playing, but it still shows that they're very low. Like you're very inconsistent with your farm. Right here you have 5, then you go to 4. You know, you should be trying to break at least 8 per minute.
Yeah.
That should be.
You should do that with Tryndamere, but that's better.
Yeah, that's what I see right here. See, yeah, that's perfect. Try to do that with like all your champions, pretty much. But yeah, that'll be doubling the Yasuos. But yeah, that's another thing. Farm is really important, man. Like it's like the number one thing that you should be focusing on if you're not doing it correctly. If you're asking yourself like, oh, where can I start like improving or whatever, that's definitely somewhere you could definitely start improving. But enough on the OPGG. There's not much else. Your damage output is low. Your kill participation is low. Your wards are low. You're not warding much. Maybe you're getting ganked a lot, or you're not playing so ahead in lane because you're scared that you're gonna get ganked. Okay. All right, let's just go into the game. Yeah. Okay. So you said you were the mid laner, the Zed?
No, that was the Echo.
The Echo, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the Zed destroyed me.
All right. All right. So first of all, what can you tell me about this lane?
Well, I can't see the screen. It's black.
Oh, it's black. Okay, sorry about that. Let me switch it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what can you tell me about this lane? Echo against Zed. Or when you're going into the game, what are you thinking about right now? What's going through your mind?
I was like, he's gonna outburst me, but he got ignite, so I want to stay like out of burst range, like where he can't like poke me with Qs, and then if I get full behind, then I'm not, because I didn't take exhaust, which I should have. So if I fall behind, then I knew that I was in trouble. So that's what I was thinking.
Okay. That's good. Okay. So at least you were thinking about the lane a little. So you said that if he all-ins you or whatever, he gets a lot of bursts off, then you're gonna start losing the lane, especially since he has ignite. Then you're gonna have a kind of like a rough time in lane, and since you didn't take exhaust, you're gonna be punished for it pretty much. So you have to get ahead, and if not, then you're gonna be like in a really bad spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Going into lane, I mean you're melee against melee, but it feels like he would have the upper hand, especially because of his shadows. Level 1, if you start, let's just see how you start off the lane. Okay, so you start off lane.
I do really bad at farming.
F1.
Echo.
Okay.
And it just gets out of hand.
Okay. All right, so it started out okay. It didn't start out the worst that it could possibly be. At least you went into lane auto attacking the minions. That's what I was looking at right now. But you made a couple of mistakes. The first mistakes that I see is that as soon as you're going into lane, what you want to be doing. Sorry, let me change color. What you want to be doing is pushing this wave as soon as possible. And the reason being is that so you could get level 2, and once you get that level 2, you could just EQ him and he won't have level 2 yet, because you'll get that advantage on him, you know, because you're the one pushing in the lane. Especially since you got into the lane first. You're auto attacking it right now, which means you are going to get level 2 first, but what you should instead be doing just to secure it quicker is throwing your Q in a direct line to hit all these 6 minions right here. By doing that, you're going to get level 2 even faster or even sooner. And that's the other thing. So let's go a little bit forward. You go a little bit forward, you're auto attacking it. You do know when you get level 6, right? Or I mean level 2, sorry, level 2.
E.
No. How many minions does it take to get level 2? Sorry.
It's the 7th minion.
7th minion? Okay, correct. Okay. Yeah, so on this 7th minion right here, you know that you're level 2 already. Pretty much what I'm trying to get at is that you should be tracking when he's going to turn level 2 and when you're going to turn level 2. You said you wanted to start out this lane by going really aggressive, and if you fall behind, you're going to be in a really bad spot. This is a way that you could really abuse that. Knowing when the when the level spikes will come. So first of all, once you're getting into lane, push it out quickly if you're trying to get the lead. Generally that's usually what you want to do, unless you're like in a really bad disadvantage that you know you're not gonna be doing well in lane, so you want them to push it towards you. That's when you're gonna just like last hit it, try to get as much damage onto the minions as you can. But if you can't, you just back off and you just wait for it to push onto you. But generally, every time that you go into lane, especially in lower elo, what I would recommend doing is just going into lane and pushing it out as fast as possible. With Echo specifically, you could just throw your Q through all the 6 minions, and then it'll bounce back. They'll be at really low health, and they'll secure you level 2. In this instant, you got level 2. What you should have done right here is eat onto him and then Q'd and then gotten off that trade. If you gotten off that trade, you do have electrocute as well, so you could probably put him down to like maybe this much health. I don't know the exact like damage foresight of Echo because I haven't really played him that well, especially this matchup. But if you went onto him and you got off that trade, that's a free trade. And imagine, just try to think of what he can actually do to you. Right now he's not even level 2 yet. He's still off by, where is he at? It's 3. Okay, so 3 right here. He's still off by 2 minions. So he's behind 2 minions of the level 2. So he's nowhere near of getting that level 2. So if you just bounced onto him and just gotten off your damage, there's no way he could get the damage back onto you and you win the trade. He gets all the way to like down here or so, his health. And then now all you have to do is just zone him off. And if he does try to come for the farm, that he's gonna try to last hit, because that's pretty much everyone's goal in lane, is to last hit a minion. So if he does try to come in for the last hit, then you just punish him and repeat, just rinse, wash, repeat that same process of trading. So you just E into him, Q him, and if you can't E to him, just Q him as well. Just try to get damage onto him and punish him for his missteps. But for this right here, the level 2 spike, you should have definitely gone in on him, and you could have gone in him to a lower health. But just try to be aware of those situations. And I mean, you like I said, you started it out well. You started thinking that you want to get ahead, but yeah, just start thinking of trying to how to get ahead in lane. Yeah, full control of the lane right here. There's another mistake I is it 240? Do you know how to track junglers?
I saw what the time was and I was gonna put a ward down, but then I saw him go top. So, but yeah, I do. Well, I knew he started red side.
Okay.
So I knew it'd be like blue side. So I was gonna put a ward down. I think I do in a second.
Okay, let's actually just keep going through it then. See if you do. 3 minutes. Let's go top. Okay, you did. All right, so at least you recognize that the Lee Sin is a strong early ganker. He's a strong early jungler just in general. But if you know that he started red side and then he goes like wolves, sorry, and then he goes like wolves and then to blue, his next options would be to go to either top, scuttle, mid, or counter jungle. But what that means is that he will be pathing. Give me a second. He will be pathing along this area right here. So let's say he either decides to go for scuttle, which would be somewhere around this area right here, or he would go for the counter jungle, or he would go for the gank. So the area that has the most traffic would be around this area right here. So this ward is fine. At least you recognize that the ward that you needed to put a ward down just to be safe. I think it would have been a lot better if you placed it around here. The reason again is because he's either going to take scuttle and it's going to spot him out around this area, or he's going to go through behind you and try to gank you like this. So this just secures you for that vision, you know? This right here, if you take a look at it, it's not really, it's covering you, but it's not really covering you, you know? Let's say, for example, for some reason you just decided to play on this side of the map, or of the lane, I mean, then he actually, you know, there's not a lot of room that's separating you from him and you know? This doesn't really give you a lot of vision, so you'll see him a little bit late, and by the time you see him, he'll be maybe like around this area or something. You'll react to him, and then he'll be around here. You'll be around here. So just to be just a little bit safer and just to be a little bit more efficient with your ward, place it around this area because you know this is going to be a high traffic area right here. Whether it's going to be him taking scuttlers or he's going to come for a gank or he's going to come to counter jungle, and you want to be protecting your jungler with that as well. Let me actually switch the cameras. I forgot that I have it on red. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so just the ward was fine, but just try to refine it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, let me just mention that as well. Just make sure that you got it. So I kind of mentioned it a little, the fact that he was going to come on this side, and if you were standing here, it would be bad. But I saw you standing most of the time on this area or this side of the lane, which is really good. You always want to be staying on the opposite side of where the jungler would be, so you could be the furthest proximity away from him, pretty much. If he walks through this side right here, and then you're standing on this side, all you have to do is just walk out or walk this way, whichever you decide to do. Yeah. But you know, there's a huge gap between the jungler and you, so there's no way of him actually getting onto you. I just wanted to mention that just so you got it.
Okay.
But for the most part, you were doing it. Right now, you're messing up because you know the whole thing of him being on the left side of the map. See how he's zoning you towards that side? Yeah, that's why. But the same you know, concept applies there. That's why I wanted to make sure that you understood it. But oh shit.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you saw him top side. Yeah. So just try to stay opposite of him. Right here, you should have just been standing on this side over here. It's on this side of the lane.
Yeah.
Let's keep going through it. Yeah, so either way, if he doesn't kill you, the Lee Sin is a really close proximity to you, and you can't get away from it either. So it's pretty nice by him. Okay, he pushes it in. You miss that wave. Oh, again, you don't have TP. I'm not so sure what it is now, but when I used to play Echo, like it was a while ago, when he barely came out. The thing that people took a lot was TP, and the reason behind it is because he has a pretty weak laning phase. I don't know if that's changed because I don't play him that well, or I don't play him that often, I mean, and I don't really see him anywhere really being played. But TP is really good because it helps you survive the laning phase, and once you survive that laning phase, you pretty much start wrecking towards the mid to late game, you know. So maybe try taking TP. I'm not so sure. We could take a look at pro builds right after, but
yeah.
So okay, so you come back into lane. Sorry, come back into lane. It's push. Right now you have no vision, so you're a little bit in a bad spot. You put a ward down. That's a really inefficient ward. The reason being, it's not. I'm not gonna repeat myself because it doesn't give you a lot of vision, but it's because you already saw that the Lee Sin was on blue side, so there's no logical reasoning behind him going on to Gromp or being on the blue side and just in general. You know, the only thing that he's gonna have available will be Gromp, and that would be really inefficient. Mainly what he would probably do is just either back and go onto his red side, or he would just walk on down to his red side and try to take Raptors and then Krugs. But the general thing about it is that he's going to be playing on his red side. So if you knew that, like this ward pretty much just becomes inefficient, or it just has no value to it at all. If you put it on this side, it would be a lot better because you know he's going to be playing on this side. So even though like the Lee Sin or whatever is not in your lane, you want to be making sure that you're paying a lot of attention to jungle pathing and you're tracking their jungle movement because what's it called? Mid lane is one of those lanes that has two sides where you could be ganked. So just being aware of the jungler is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there he is. Okay. That was just the same thing as levels. You didn't understand what level you were, and then you got punished for it. You hit level 6 first, the same reason or the same way that you hit level 2 first. He hit level 6 first and then just punish you for it. So levels are really important. So just be making sure that you're paying attention to when people are going to hit what levels. It'll prevent a lot of these things. And then of course the jungle, where the jungler was at and how you were positioned in lane. Let's just take a look at it again. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so right there, people usually get really impatient with clearing the wave and try to get as much damage onto the wave just to push it up or whatever. But let me get some water real quick. Give me a second. But if you just be patient with it and let the wave push back onto you, you're pretty much letting yourself grab a whole wave. So let's go back to that freeze ring. Give me a second. You decided to overextend for the wave. Okay. So right here, this is pretty much gonna die. You overextending for it and trying to get the Q off puts you in a range where he could just W onto you. Either way, like let's say the Lee Sin wasn't here. The Lee Sin didn't even need to be here for him to kill you. All he had to do is just W onto you, E, Q, do his combo, ult you, ignite, and you know, all of that good stuff. He doesn't have ignite right now, but either way, like you win this or you lose this trade-off no matter what. Like there's no actual way that you win it. One, he's already level 6, and then 2, he's just a lot stronger and has a lot more damage than you right now. You know, you only have the ring, and then he has a Dirk and the longsword already. But if you just didn't overextend right here and then didn't Q this and just let it die and just stayed in XP range around this area right here, then you would have been completely fine. And then this will eventually, depending on how he plays it, this is technically going to push into him, and it's probably going to freeze around this area right here because the minion wave was already coming in. So it's probably going to freeze around this area. But if you took it a little bit patient and just let him just farm it out and try to push it into you, and he'll eventually just push it into you, bounce back into you. You're patient, you're gonna farm it out. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is don't risk dying for like 2 minions or 3 minions. Instead, just be patient, and so you could get like the 10 minions that are coming in, you know. Just try not to be so impatient in lane, as you can say. But also as well, this just ties into understanding where the jungler was at, and also level advantages, where the levels are at. The other thing I do want to point out is also spacing. I don't know if you're aware of what it is, but pretty much what it is the ability of a champion to do something. So if he can do it, he will do it pretty much. Right here, what I was pretty much saying is that the Z is right here. He could W onto you, so his range for his W would be around this area right here. And then his ult will be, let's say he's right here, his ult will be around this area now. So he can ult onto you from right here. So that pretty much tells you that you do not want to be in this area right here. And since you do go over it or go into that area, then you get punished for it. But just being aware of the range of the champions and what they can do will help you out a lot in lane. Not just in this situation, but just in other situations as well. Does that all make sense? Do you have any questions or anything?
Yeah. That's
okay.
That's what I start to do. Well, I start to just play really bad, but then he freezes the lane by his tower, so it's pretty much.
Hey, it makes it really well for you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so he's just pushing it in. Yeah, that's a bad thing about Echo. That if you that's just the laning phase being like so rough on Echo. But I think this whole game was just decided that on that level 2. Or could have been decided on that level 2. If you punish him at level 2, all of this wouldn't have happened. He would have been in a really smooth lane, smooth game pretty much. Okay, so yeah, he's just freezing it. Let's actually see. not paying attention, a lot of attention to wave control. So let me see how you got it to push. I think you just got into lane and then just started pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. You want to be... Okay. Yeah, you want to be at least aware or have an understanding of wave management. It's super important. Especially the higher you go, the more people will abuse that. It's something that I definitely abuse when I'm in bot lane, or just in any lane, but specifically right now in bot lane, is understanding what... Pause this. Understanding what the champion can do and what it means in that lane. Right now you're at a really like huge deficit. You're really behind in farm right now, and you're really far behind in lane control. If you just got into lane and didn't push it in, just froze it, the lane would be stuck around right here, and the lane wouldn't be pushing up right now. It'll be stuck right here. Maybe he goes for a Q or something, but just try not to go into lane and just auto push it. Just try to think about what the situation means for you right now. In this scenario, you would have just froze it there and it would have been okay, but instead you decided to push it up, so now you have no control over the wave, and he could just stand around right here, and as soon as you want to go in for a minion or something, he could just jump onto you again with the range of his W and then his ult. So now you'll have to be forced to like step all the way back here, and then your jungler will have to come help you to break it. But the way to prevent that is just understanding what position you are in the game right now. I would only recommend you be pushing it right now if you were looking to roam, but it doesn't look like there's any opportunity for you to roam, so there's no reason to be pushing it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. See how you're just being zoned off? And you know if you step up, you're gonna die pretty much.
Yeah.
So he just has full control of the wave for the next like 3 minutes or however long he wants to keep it. Because right now it's gonna stay there for as long as he wants it to stay there. He just keeps last hitting it. So yeah, so like if the wave is around this area right here, all you need is 3 casters to keep it frozen here. The reason being is that these minions get to the enemy minions quicker, so they'll be attacking it a lot sooner, and by the time these get there, they'll like reinforce it, and then they'll start attacking back. These will be dead, but then these will be stronger, but then your wave gets there quicker, so it balances out and it just stays stuck right here as long as they're just like last hitting. But yeah, just it's if you were the Zed right now, and if you wanted it to control the wave right here, this is how you would do it. So he's doing the correct thing right here, just freezing it there. And then again, you can't really step up or do anything. It's so rough right now because, I mean, I would kind of recommend you to roam because that's the only thing you can really do because he's just controlling the crap out of the lane. But even then, like if you roam, I'm pretty sure he'll just push it up on you as soon as possible, and you'll lose the minions, and then you'll be risking failure like in another lane. But then you'll fall behind in XP and in just gold XP and everything pretty much. Okay, let's see that. So again, you step up. Ooh, a little early. Ooh, yeah, a little early. I think if you... Ooh. I think you actually could have lived there. I think you just comboed everything incorrectly. So one, you misstep. You go way too early. Or you go in too early. I guess it's fine because you baited him in. Yeah, so it's fine. You Q, you E. Oh, okay. Yeah, you ulted. If you had ulted around right now, then you get that auto off and your third click will come off of your ult, and then he'll take a lot of damage from it. And if you had thrown your W a lot sooner, you could have gotten the shield by the time the ult would have popped, and you probably would have lived. If not, it would have been a lot closer, but it would have been a lot cleaner. But yeah, that's just like the micro stuff. How to play Echo a little bit better. Because all of his kit pretty much is you have to predict everything like 3 seconds in advance. So if you like right there your Q or your W, I mean your shield, if you just threw it a little bit sooner, as soon as he got onto you, then it would have been a lot smoother. Okay, let's just keep moving on though. That was fine. You tried to bait it. You got the kill on him. He killed you, unfortunately, but at least you're getting an assist. At least better than nothing. Again, you have no wave control. Yeah, it's a bit rough. We'll just keep going through. I think the main problem was just the early levels there, and just not understanding the lane matchup and what levels mean, like spacing and all that too. Let's just keep looking at it though. Sorry. You have no mana. You're overextended. You throw your W, which is fine. You just ghost back to it, yeah. Yeah, it's just overextending with low mana there. Do you tilt easily, like in game?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes? Okay. Why do you think that is?
Because I don't like being behind. I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha. And well, I mean, yeah, I guess you don't like being behind and you just want to win, right? You're so focused on the win. And when you fall behind, you feel like you can't win?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, this is dead. Alright, I'm gonna just stop it there, I think. Well, I'm gonna stop the going through the game and then we could just talk over the game again. Where are you right now? Are you top lane? Gotta go top lane. That doesn't work out. Let's just take a look at that. Oh. He's hitting Mega. You disrespect him for it. And you end up getting punished for it, I believe. Yeah. Oh, early ult. Way too early. Okay. Yeah, I think the main thing right there was just you disrespected the the damage output that he can do, and you weren't paying attention too much to what his cooldowns mean, or what his abilities do, and what his cooldowns are, and what he can actually do as a champion. And you kind of just disrespected him for it, and you got punished for it. All right, so we'll just stop it there because I pretty much saw what I needed to see, and I know like what I need to teach you. So let's go back to the beginning and just do a little recap of it. Okay. All right. So I'm getting a feeling that you don't really understand the game to its like its core values, like the fundamentals of the game enough to one to get ahead and one to come behind or to come back from being behind, and then that ties into to tilting as well. So I think that's like the main thing that I want to help you like fix and get better at. The way you do that is just understanding of the fundamentals of the game, which would be CSing, trading, how to trade, how to lane properly, what matchups mean, spacing, which I covered a little. But Also level 4 or knowledge of what levels mean, like what level power spikes mean, and damage foresight as well. Those are mainly the things that you're lacking a lot. Again, okay, so right there, again, just if you're going into lane, try to push it up. If you know that you're behind, try to push it up, and then recognize your levels. So what I would tell you to do is before you go into game, like right now, I asked you before we got into this game, what do you see from this lane? What does it mean? Try to take it a little step further and try to look at the junglers as well. Not only that, but try to break down every single like aspect of the champion. And the reason I tell you to do that is because I'll help you understand more of the champion. It'll help you understand more of the matchup and not accidentally miss something. So things like these, like how he killed you level 6 and how you couldn't kill him at that point, and how you didn't kill him right here at level 2, or how you didn't trade well and then control the lane from there. So just try to take it a little step further. How you can do that is just ask yourself, what does Zed do? So you just break it down. What does his Q do? He throws it out. He does this. What's the cooldown on it? Things like that. What is the range on it? He has a range of like right here. Let's just say it's like around right here. So you want to stay away from that range. You want to wiggle around that range so he won't hit you. Wiggling, pretty much what wiggling is do you know what wiggling is or no?
So where you like move your mouse left to right.
Yeah, very quickly.
Like fast.
Do you know the reasoning behind it?
It's so you have more control of your character, and it's harder for them to hit skill shots. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's part of it. Another reason people do it so much is so it hides your intent in lane pretty much. If you're just clicking back and forth, they're going to be like, what the heck is this guy doing? What is he going to do next? You know? It also helps you, of course, dodge the skill shots, because if you're wiggling back and forth, then he won't know whether to hit it there or there or there, because you know you're just moving very quickly between the areas. But it hides your intent most of all. So for example, let's just put a scenario. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna do it as Zed because it looks like you're gonna go in for a minion right here. I'm gonna just break this down and then tell me if you have any questions about it or anything about it. All right, so pretty much what I see right here is that right now, what I see and what I tell is that you're clicking around this area, this proximity right here. You're probably gonna click back forward onto this side. If not, actually, you're gonna start clicking more forward and try to go for this minion. The reason that I know that is that you're trying to get the last hit on this minion as well as this minion, but you're probably prioritizing this minion right here. So you're standing mostly on this side. What this means, as me, if I was a Zed, what I would be doing is I would be standing on this minion and waiting for you to come in to get the trade off on you. That's pretty much how a trade generally works in lane. What you want to be doing is punishing and punishing the laners for every time that they misstep or there's a open window. And mainly how it usually generally works, like a basic trading stance or whatever, it would be every time that you go for a minion, the enemy will try to punish you for it. So you'll take damage for going for the minion, and you can't retaliate that damage unless your kit allows it or something. But generally, let's say you go for this, you auto attack it. He just has to Q you. He can auto attack you if he wants, but all he has to do is just stand back here, Q you, because he knows you're going to walk up to this minion and hit it. So you Q it, or he Qs it, and you take the damage. You can't go on to him at all. So he wins the trade. And then there goes like 80% or 80 HP of your health, you know? But that's pretty much what I see right here. You're trying to go for this minion, so he just has to retaliate. Try to, for every minion that there is, try to make a picture or make a scenario where you can punish him. So right now, the Zed right here is going to go, let's say he's looking for these two minions right here. The reason that I know that is that he's looking in this direction. So he's clicking around this area or something, or he's looking to get these minions right here because they're going low, you know, the same way you're going for these minions. So in that case, just try to step up a little bit more, maybe Q him, auto him, do something, especially right now, since you're getting into level 2. This would be a perfect case where he's going to go for the minion. You're going to get level 2 off of this minion, and then you could punish him for misstepping onto this minion, and he can't retaliate or anything, you know? So you win the trade automatically. But just try to look for these little scenarios every time that you're in lane, and that's how you pretty much develop a habit of understanding the trading stance and abusing the trading stance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that'll be general trading stance. Another thing that I'd like to mention as well is the level advantages and what they mean in lane and what they mean in the matchup. In this game, I saw that a lot in your gameplay. That you didn't understand exactly what the levels meant, and in this scenario right here, and also the level 6 scenario. This is specific to this game. I broke it down for you, and then it's specific for this game. But every game that you go into, try to think about what the lane means. Even though if I'm like in bot lane, top, mid, any lane in general, you want to always be thinking about how you're going to be playing out the lane. And again, the way that you do that is just break it down. What does Zed do? He Qs. He has this X amount of range, this X amount of range, X amount of movement speed. So that means he'll be here in like point something seconds. So he'll be in range. How can I dodge that? How can I avoid that? Things like that. All of this is pretty much just thought out before the game even starts. So
Yeah.
laning phase, like you shouldn't be like being surprised by anything or being like, oh fuck, like I didn't react to that quickly enough. It should already be planned out and structured for you, so you have a plan out for the game already. And the first like 10 minutes or so aren't a surprise, and you're playing really controlled. What was the other thing? I explained spacing. Yeah, you got the concept of spacing, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just try to focus on spacing and try to stay away from those like really disadvantageous scenarios where you overextend and then he could just easily jump on you, especially on champions that have like a dash or a you know, a blink or anything that closes a gap closer pretty much. Try to avoid those scenarios where you get punished for it. Another thing was just the warding thing. Try to, yes, you warded, but try to make it more valuable. The way that you do that is just, I mean, you could just watch more higher level players see how they lane, especially players like Faker, Apto, Crown. Those are really good, or BBC as well. They're really good at the mid lane, and you could just see how they're warding and try to ask yourself like, why are they warding there? Here in this scenario, I broke it down for you like why you shouldn't ward there, and you should instead ward here because it has more value there. But yeah, just try to ask yourself those questions. There was an instance where he did actually come before you died or as you were dying. If you weren't that low and the Zed just kept you there, you saw him really late and you were already on the wrong side of the lane. So he's in really close proximity to you. He could have just killed you either way if the Zed didn't kill you. But just try to keep junglers in mind as well. If you're in any lane, not just mid lane. But you could also take this into ADC and also top as well. Junglers matter a lot, so try to just position in lane accordingly to the junglers and what they could actually do. That's a little bit more, I guess, advanced and more it's more like kind of further down the line once you understand how to trade and like how to properly do this and how to understand the matchups. So yeah, that's pretty much the first thing that I want you to be working on is understanding the matchup and how to play out the lane and having a plan before you go into game, and so you can execute that plan. Other than that, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I really saw. I mean, damage foresight, of course, is something that you were kind of, I see that you were kind of lacking a little. You weren't really sure of how much damage he puts out. I don't know if it was just lack of knowledge of how much damage he could actually put out, or if you were just, I don't know, just not focused or something. But try to think about how much damage they could actually put out onto you and how much damage you could put back onto them, and who wins the trades and what and all that.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not much else I would like to say, unless you have any questions or anything. Do you have any questions?
No, I can't think of questions off the top of my head. If I think of any, I'll message you.
Yeah, that's completely fine. You could definitely message me. Yeah, all right. Everything made sense though. You could definitely say no. I could repeat something for you if you'd like me to. But everything made sense or no?
Yeah, yeah. The looking out for levels, spacing, trading. Like when he's go for the low minions, stand on top of his minions, try and trade with him while he's trying to CS.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've got to watch out for him trying to do that to me as well. So
Yeah, so you should always be active in lane. Like your brain should always be active in lane and always looking out for something that could happen. It should never really be like unfocused or on autopilot. If you do you find yourself having trouble with that, like being on autopilot and all that?
sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, okay. Yeah, if you follow the tips that I'm like pretty much giving you, it will definitely help you out a lot because you're actively starting to think about things that are going on in the game, and especially if you have a plan before the game even starts, you already establish something, you know, so you don't have to be worrying about it like in game or something. So you can start worrying about game specific stuff because pretty much what you're pretty much doing before the game starts is you're making up a theory or a scenario that could possibly happen. But in game, of course, it's not going to actually happen that way. So if you already have that in the back of your head of what could happen, all you have to do in game is just watch out for the things that are actually happening. But you're already like a step ahead because you know what can actually happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just try to keep actively thinking of these type of things. Another thing I do want to say is make sure that you're farming correctly because your farm was a little bit low. But
Yeah.
just make sure that you're, even though you are going for these trades, like, you know how I told you about the minions, try to punish them for every minion that they go for. Try not to miss your own minions as well, because if you do, you're going to start falling behind in gold. Although you are going to have lane control and he's going to have less damage, but he's going to go back and let's say he's actually farming correctly or something. And he's going to go back, he's going to have more gold, he's going to come back with higher items, and you're going to come back with a lesser item. And now he's actually more ahead of you. And then he can start punishing you for it. So just make sure that you're farming well as well, because it's super important. If you have perfect farm, they'll carry you like by itself, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, if there's any questions or anything that you'd like to ask me, if they do come up later in the future, definitely let me know. You can message me at any time.
Okay.
All right. I hope this helped. And yeah, I mean, is it okay if I use this for YouTube? If I do decide to use it for YouTube?
Yeah, it's fine.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, just message me. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.